Hey guys, what's up? It's Nate. Today I wanted to talk about an idea that really resonated with me in a book that I was reading that has absolutely nothing to do with product development, but the concept is very much applicable. And the book is called Essentialism by Greg McKeown, and I was reading it back and forth on my trip to Fort Worth. And the subtitle of the book is The Disciplined Pursuit of Less. And I think that that message has so much application in product development that it's something that really resonated with me personally. And this is what I really mean by that is, how many applications do you have right now that you use all the features in? Think about something like Excel. You probably do roughly the same 5 or 10 things in Excel almost every time you open it, yet Excel has hundreds of features. Microsoft Word the same way. A lot of the apps that you have installed on your phone, right? A lot of the software and applications that you have installed on your desktop or your laptop. There are so many features built in, and I would say only 20% of them take up 80% of the time spent in those applications. So as a product developer or a product manager or a young startup that's trying to build something cool, I would really, really impress upon you to think about the features that you're including in your applications and really think, do we need this? Because more is not always more. Less is almost always better. And one thing that I like to think about inside of my applications, one thing comes to mind specifically. We have an application that basically has an area where it does some reporting, right? And of the attributes available to report on, there's probably 700. So one path you could take is to display all 700, or give someone a drop down to pick any of the 700 that they want to see. And what we do is we show 3, and that's it. And there are plenty more options. We could have shown 10 or 20 or 6, but we landed on 3. And the reason that we landed on 3 is because those 3 we felt were the most critical items and were worth the real estate inside of the application. So there are times where clients might ask, well, do you have this information or do you have that information? Or could you show this or could you show that? And the answer is yes. We do have more. But we very intentionally decided to put less in the application. And the reason is, if I have an application that has 20 features and 18 of them are being used, I would much prefer that over an application that has 100 features and only 18 of them are being used. So the goal really is to think about, what's the value proposition of your application? What are you really trying to do? How are you trying to help your clients? And then test every feature against that. Does this really add value? Or is this just more for the sake of more? Or is it just more because we can? We figured this thing out and we want to show people because we think it's cool. And that's great to a point. But my position has always been to have the simplest possible application that can do the greatest amount of good or provide the most value. The consumption gap between the things that we have right now And the percentage of the features that we use is only getting wider and wider. How many of you have TVs that have 1,000 different settings that you've never even looked at before? Right? The same exact thing applies for web-based applications. Really, really fight for the smallest possible feature set that is going to deliver the maximum amount of value. That gives you real estate to focus on the user experience, which is by far the most critical piece of any product. So think about that. Pick up Greg's book if you haven't, because it's awesome. Essentialism, Greg McCown, The Disciplined Pursuit of Less, and apply that to your products. And get rid of stuff that you don't need or that the client doesn't use, right? And what you'll end up with is a much lighter, smaller, simpler application, and then the doors will open up from a user experience standpoint, and you can really, really focus on delivering something of tremendous simplicity while being tremendously valuable. That's the goal.